Alrighty, my name is Bianca and we're out here at Frantz Wholesale Nursery in Hickman, California with Ed this morning. We're going to be looking at some beautiful varieties of citrus and comparing between different varieties such as Mexican key lime and Bear's lime. We're out here in the Eureka lemons, and Eureka is definitely the #1 backyard tree for home gardeners to have when they're having lemons, besides the Meyer lemon, of course, which is also super popular. Meyer lemon having that super thin skin and almost orange outer exterior. They get real dark when they're ripe.
Correct.
These ones are just barely coming into their color this season, but this is your classic thick-skinned, great for zesting, great for juicing, real true zesty lemon flavor, and they're not what you get at the grocery store, really.
Well, actually, no. It's more the Lisbon lemon.
Yeah.
It tends to be more the commercial variety. The Eureka, but the Eureka is offered commercially, and there are growers that are growing it, commercially, but not as frequently as the Lisbon is.
Absolutely.
Right. This is a variety that actually has California roots as well. I mean, it goes back to 1858 when it was a select seedling, and then it eventually was introduced by Thomas Gary, who was a pretty famous citrus grower down in the Los Angeles area. So, it's definitely got California roots.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another main difference between this one and Lisbon is that this one has its ties back to Italy and Lisbon has ties back to Portugal, correct?
Yeah. And both of them really, when you look at the genealogy,
right,
the lineage, they've been around for a long time. They've been around for a long time.
And to the untrained eye, they actually really are so similar.
They're almost identical.
Almost
identically. To be exact, you would not be dissatisfied with either one of them.
We actually did a really fun test last year whenever all the citrus was fruiting. Hopefully we'll get to do it with you this year, just taste testing the different varieties. We have some staff members that have been here, 20, 30 plus years, and we cut into Eurekas, Lisbon, and Meyers and saw it like blindfolded. Could they tell the difference?
Yeah.
And everybody could tell the difference between the Meyer and these two, but nobody could tell the difference between Eureka and Lisbon fruit. And then we'll of course show you guys the Lisbon. Oh my gosh, again, juice just running out of there. You can see that beautiful, they're not quite fully ripe, but you can still see that beautiful yellow flesh in there.
There's no way in the world that you couldn't use this lemon right now for anything you wanted to do with lemons.
Yeah. Perfect.
Wow!
Very tart.
That's a great distinct flavor after we had that
the lime.
Right. What a distinct difference.
Very different.
Very
Limes
different.
have just that specific flavor. I'm going to show the juice now. Yeah,
do it with me.
Oh my gosh, you're much stronger than me. Whoa!
My goodness.
Alrighty, so now we're out here at the Lisbon lemons, and for me, Ed, the main way that I tell that I'm looking at a Lisbon lemon is that kind of butted up against that flower bud end where they kind of have that wrinkle right there. To me, that's the main identifying marker to tell these two apart because they really are so similar with that thick skin. You can tell they're not quite turned color yet, but they are really going to look identical to the Eurekas.
Yeah, I get that, and you actually pointed that out to me, when we were looking at the Eurekas, and I appreciate that. The fact is that they're so similar that the only difference may very well be the Lisbon is a little bit more thorny.
Yes, they're definitely a little bit more thorny. These thorns can get up to, I would say, close to 2 inches, huh? Maybe you've seen a longer one before.
Yeah, but I tell you what, here's I think the distinguishing thing, the thing we really need to impress on everybody is that you couldn't tell them apart if you had them in your yard because the lemons are so similar. So the Lisbon lemon really comes into California sometime around the 1870s, 1880s, but there is record that says it could have been here as early as 1849, so it could have been here a lot earlier. Definitely this was somewhat popular, but then H.B. Frost, who was a very famous citrus hybridizer with the University of California, he took and introduced or created a more commercially satisfying variety and introduced it in the 1950s. Now this has become the most popular of the commercial varieties of lemons.
So is this what we find at the grocery store?
Typically this is what you would find in the grocery store, right, in most grocery stores. Farmers markets and specialty grocery stores, you probably would run into the Eureka,
right.
But this typically would be the one that the commercial guys are going for. Bianca and I are out in the field here, and we're actually looking at the Lisbon and the Eureka. And my good friend Tom Spellman, who is a citrus authority, he had an opinion he shared with me earlier. I want him to give us his slant on both these two varieties. Tom, we speak to everybody here. You're on speakerphone.
Ed and Bianca, good morning. How are you?
We're great.
We're great. It's a bright sunny day out here.
Good, good. So I'm down here in Southern California looking at my lemons right now, and just about ready to harvest some, especially the Eurekas. So Ed and I discussed Eureka versus Lisbon a little bit earlier today, and I've got kind of a rough opinion, and my preference has always been Eureka. Eureka, the thorns on Eureka are much less aggressive than the thorns on Lisbon. Now, the fruit character is virtually identical. If you put the two next to each other, I don't think you're really going to see a difference. That would make a difference in growing one over the other.
So one big point, Tom, that you pointed out to me, and that is we shouldn't make a negative of either of these simply because the average person who really wants a wonderful lemon in their yard and really isn't, drawn to the mire, more than likely they wouldn't have any problem with either one of these, correct?
You are exactly right. Like I said, you could put the two fruit next to each other, and there's very, very slim chance that you would notice any difference at all.
That's great. That's great. Well, you know what? That's what I wanted. I wanted to get that third opinion in there. I didn't want to disappoint you by doing a video and you going, Ed, you forgot to say. Hey, thank you very much, my friend.